Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Didn't think I was going to be back on here this soon, but there's more developing news that's coming in, and I want to make sure that I get this out. Now, this is coming from, I want to make sure I get it right because I always mess this name up. It's War Room 24/7, okay? You got to translate it over to English. It says NATO gives Ukraine 24 F-16s equipped with B-61 nuclear bombs. Moscow, Europe will become a place of skulls. Now, this is just coming out. Shocking information about the development of the war in Ukraine is circulated by Turkish, Russian, and American media. According to the same sources, Washington's Hawks have decided to deliver the F-16 fighters to Kyiv, which will carry nuclear weapons, especially the B-61 bombs. This information is confirmed by the American magazine Newsweek and the Russian RIA Novosti a few days ago. The Russian Foreign Minister S. Lavrov has also intervened, asking that the F-16s do not be delivered to Kyiv, precisely because of the possibility of carrying nuclear weapons. It seems that NATO experts expects to complete this conventional collapse of the Ukrainian army. See, they're expecting the complete conventional collapse of the Ukrainian army. That is why to rush to prepare Plan B. According to this plan, the Russians occupied Donbas and Zaporizhzhia, I can't say the name, etc. Then the transfer of nuclear F-16s to Ukraine is a given. NATO members believe that this is a way that Russia's advance will be stopped and Moscow will sit at the negotiating table, which it does not. It turns into a disaster, as I've told you. F-16 and B-61 nuclear bombs in Ukraine. According to the Turkish sources, tough negotiations are underway in NATO regarding the transfer of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, and the B-61 nuclear armament of the Ukrainian F-16s have already been agreed upon. It's already been agreed. Okay. According to the same information, there is a huge opposition from other countries caused by the U.S. initiative to transfer the F-16 fighter jets to the armed forces of Ukraine with the ability to use the B-61 nuclear bombs. The American and the Ukrainian pilots would be trained in their use. That's already taken place, by the way. They've been training them for a year. There is currently a consensus to transfer at least 24 aircraft to Ukraine, with one squadron, 12 aircraft being trained to use the nuclear weapons. So they've already agreed to send nuclear weapons to Ukraine. It's already a done deal. The United States, Great Britain, Poland, and Germany are in favor of the idea, and Turkey, Greece, and Hungary are against. Opponents of the initiative believe that this is a way to risk the escalation of the conflict increases sharply, while the United States will be forced to maintain a stockpile of nuclear weapons within the range of Russian operational tactical systems. In addition, negotiations are significantly complicated by the Ukraine's incursion into the territory of Belgorod region, which calls into question any guarantees from Kyiv about not using weapons received from the West, since they're already using them. See, Ukraine said, well, we're not going to use these weapons there, and that's exactly what they're doing. So, on the other hand, Poland is favored as it plans through Ukraine option to finally achieve the deployment of nuclear weapons on its soil. So it's a done deal. On its soil, and also bring them under operational control. Okay, F-16s could host nuclear weapons. Russia's Foreign Minister Lavrov said on Monday that the U.S.-made F-16s can host nuclear weapons, and warned about supplying Kyiv with these would further escalate the conflict. We have to keep in mind that one of the F-16 modifications can host nuclear weapons, Lavrov said in a speech in a military base in Kazakhstan, I think. Newsweek, NATO's secret plans for war with Russia. NATO is working on secret plans for military action against Russia, reports. It is a fact that NATO's bloc has diligently pretended to be the dove of peace for the last 30 years, relying on purely defensive objectives. It has steadily expanded eastward, moving closer and closer to Russia's borders, while at the same time destroying entire countries by killing their civilian population, citizens of Yugoslavia, Libya, Iraq, and killed because of NATO. However, the European taxpayers who funded these operations rarely protested NATO aggression. The only exception was the war in Iraq. If bombs fell somewhere, it was always from the people of Paris and Berlin. Not even the invasion of Yugoslavia by NATO troops changed this reality. More importantly, NATO wartime adversaries in recent decades have been poor countries with very modest military capabilities. There are no weapons that could reach Paris and Berlin. But now the U.S. magazine Newsweek is reporting the alliance's secret plans for a war against Russia. They will have to be approved by the next NATO summit, which is the one I told you. That takes place on the 11th and 12th. And Russia's got nuclear missiles pointing at it 100 miles away. That takes place just a couple weeks away, if we even get to that point. Officially, the summit program lists only 6 points related to the confrontation with Russia. It's about harmonizing and coordinating alliance forces of the battlefield of war, long-term cooperation with private military equipment companies, increasing the production of weapons, ammunition, and creating reserves in the event of a long-time war. In fact, they openly acknowledge that achieving these goals will take several years. Western public opinion, however, is agitated by another secret NATO plan for military action against Russia. According to Newsweek, this comes from thousands of pages of documents that include careful planning of these specific maneuvers. Russian bombs will fall on Paris and Berlin. In other words, the alliance plans to seriously confront Russia on the battlefield. But neither the people of European countries nor the MPs have a clue how exactly this is supposed to happen. But this is one of those who heads the Russian bombs will fall. The people of Paris and Berlin will be very unpleasant news, but must be dragged into a war with their own money, with by themselves desperately need, this time not against a small defenseless country, but one with the largest nuclear power. With all this information taking place, as I've said, we don't see it coming. They don't involve the public. The media will completely keep it hid. Nobody will know about it. And when everything happens, it happens suddenly. And they will keep it that way. They do not want you to know. And you won't know until it's... The dream I had, nobody found out until it was too late. And I think that's why the Lord has given us so many things about the beehives, the bees showing up in Times Square. We're on the clock, and that's why He's given us these things. He's letting us know so it don't catch us off guard. He knows they're not going to tell us, but He's letting us know it's time to go home and that we're getting out of here. You know, like I was talking to you earlier about the 11/11, and I thought it would probably be November, but 11/11 is judgment. It could be any time. Could be a time 11/11. I just thought it was November the 11th because it was 11/11. So, could it be just a time of judgment? So I've actually, because, you know, me and Kim Fisher and Gigi have discussed this. Maybe it's a time. It's just judgment itself. Maybe it wasn't November. You know, maybe it symbolized judgment. We don't know. I just know that everything I've seen is coming to pass with all this. And it's not just me. It's many others have saw World War III in the beginning of it. And it happened so like that. A snap of a finger. That's why I'm telling you, with all the signs we're getting and all the warnings, the 44 locker that I saw, the red, which was Mars going into the beehive, which we're in now. The bees showing up, honeybees. Kim Fisher's been seeing bees for 5 years. All of a sudden, she sees honeybees a couple of weeks ago. Honeybees show up in Times Square. People thought that was funny. But let me tell you something. I wouldn't be laughing when God's trying to give us signs. And He is. Letting us know where we are according. A lot of people ain't going to be laughing very soon. So I tell you not to fear, and you don't fear any of this stuff, we're leaving. But there's a reason why the Lord's showing us all this information. He's taking care of us, letting us know it's about time to go home. And this news right here plays right out of what I've seen. It'll be a sudden event. You won't see it coming. That's why we're leaving. That's why the rapture is getting ready to happen. People will They'll sit till it's too late, and they'll say, no, 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 it's not going to happen. We got hundreds here. They'll just keep doing it, and they're not going to stop. But I'm here to tell you, the world's degrading. There was a huge earthquake in Japan right before I come on here. It was even before the last video. And then there's one in Alaska, 5.0. People, he's talking. He's warning. He's telling everybody what's coming to pass. Now, you can either listen to the Lord and what the Bible tells us about these last days events. We're in the last meta-cycle of Israel. It's just judgment. That means Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. Have yourselves ready, people. Pray for the lost. Put your prayer requests in the bottom and pray, pray, pray. We're on a collision course. The world is, and it's coming to an end. We're getting ready to get out of here. And we're getting ready to go to heaven and be with our Father Jesus. It's a great time to be alive. We're getting ready to go home, and I cannot wait to be there. I love each and every one of you. Until next time, if I don't see or hear from you again, I'll see you in heaven.